So you have a new healthy habit that you want to start. You wrote it down on your whiteboard. You tell your friends that you're doing this brand new thing and you're so excited for this new change. But after a few days, you miss one day and another day and another day until that habit is long gone. If you follow this step-by-step system that I summarized from 7 different books on habits, I promise you'll have a much easier time sticking to any habit that you set for the rest of your life. With this system over the past 3 years, I've started and kept the good habits of daily exercise, stretching, meditation, gratitude, cold showers, healthy eating, a consistent sleep routine. I've been able to go from 193 pounds of fat to 163 pounds of muscle, steel, and sex appeal. Step number 1 out of 11. This step is the biggest motivator when it comes to sticking to my habits right now. I know you're thinking in the back of your head, oh, I hear motivation is not that important. It's all about discipline, man. It's all about discipline. Yes, discipline is important, but motivation is your why behind something, and it's also the feeling that you have. I need you to take the habit that you're thinking of right now that's been a little bit hard to stick to and what life it's going to lead to, because nobody just wants to work out. They want to be healthy. They want to be strong. They want to be good looking. That's how we're going to get into step number 1, which is to create a vision and an anti-vision. I know you're thinking in the back of your head, man, this is some airy fairy woo woo spiritual shit that I see girls do on TikTok, and they're like, oh, make a vision board. Bro, trust me, I've had those same limiting beliefs before. It's not some girly feminine shit. It actually works. So bro, I want you on one piece of paper to write out everything in your dream life that you could possibly want: the money, the relationships, the body, and the lifestyle. And then after you're done writing, we're gonna go ahead and draw it. It doesn't have to be super professional. Stick figures are just fine. For example, on my vision board is me, aesthetic, muscular, shredded body at 10% body fat, just looking absolutely jacked. And then another part is me having the most beautiful feminine woman I've ever met in my life, and she is my girlfriend. And I imagine her eyes as I take my shirt off, it just lights up, and she is deeply attracted to me. That is deeply motivating. I mean, whenever you're craving Snickers or a salad, you're gonna think about that in your future, and you can be like, fuck the Snickers, bro, I want the baddie. So you see how my face starts lighting up. So I want you to create a vision that's so inspiring that you literally can't help yourself smile when you start talking about it. And then I want you to create an anti-vision. Humans are built to run away from pain and towards pleasure, so we're actually going to use this to our advantage. The anti-vision is what's going to happen if you keep doing the bad habits and never start the good habits and actually stick to them. It's your worst possible life. So for me, I imagine being dead broke at 40 years old, working paycheck to paycheck at McDonald's, not even as a shift supervisor, bro, just a basic cashier. I'm overweight, I'm full of acne, and I can't even get up the stairs without running out of breath. My wife is overweight and she's ugly and she's extremely disrespectful, and worst of all, she's a terrible mother. So whenever it comes to the bad habits, sometimes if the vision isn't motivating enough, you can use this anti-vision, this painful image, to really say, no dude, I'm not doing the bad habit because I never want to get myself to that life. So you get the gist. Write down your ideal life and your worst possible life, then go ahead and draw it. The more specific you can be, the better, so you can really start to visualize it. And remember, it has to strike emotion. It can't just be logic. Once you have this done, this should be a piece of paper that you carry with you everywhere, and look at it until it is ingrained into your mind. Step number 2 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. Have you ever felt like you were pushing against the grain whenever you try to start a new habit? Like it wasn't you, like you were trying to make this big change that felt like you had to change yourself in order to do that. This tip is going to change that completely, and I wish someone had told me this when I started working out. If you want to be shredded or get to a certain goal or have a certain habit, you can't just tell yourself, oh, I want those things. You have to believe you already have those things. And this is another one of those things where you're going to think, oh, it's airy fairy spiritual woo woo stuff. It's not. Just listen. There are 3 layers of change, and most people resort to working from the outside in. That's wrong. We want to work from the inside out, and it's going to be so much easier. So there's the outer layer, the middle layer, and the inner layer. The outer layer is the outcomes or results of the goal or the habit that you want to start. So it could be publishing a book, getting to 10K per month, losing weight. The middle layer is the systems or processes that you have to get there. So it could be a new diet plan, a new workout plan, or decluttering your workspace for more productivity. Okay, and then we have the inner layer, which is your identity. Your identity is what you believe is true about yourself. What are your personal beliefs about how the world works, how you work? It consists of your deep core beliefs that were programmed into you during your childhood or through social media or through other people. However, some of these beliefs are just not true. They're false beliefs. They're limiting beliefs, and we have to change some of these if you want to make long-lasting change in your own life. I hate when people get all spiritual with these concepts and it never relates to people wanting to practically improve their lives. So these are 2 practical steps to change your identity. Decide the person that you want to be. So whatever habit that you want to implement, decide you are that person already, and then prove it to yourself with small wins. So one of your goals is to be muscular and shredded. So who is that type of person already? That person is disciplined. He's consistent. He has a high willpower and he's patient. So this is what you have to tell yourself and start believing about yourself. I am disciplined. I am consistent. I am patient. patient with the process. I do have high willpower. I can't say no to cravings. I'm willing to wait 2 to 3 years to get an aesthetic physique. I follow my diet plan. I follow my workout routine. And then you have to prove it to yourself with small wins throughout the day, so your brain can be like, okay, hey, he told himself he's a disciplined person and now he's proving it. Maybe we are a disciplined person. Over time, as you keep doing that, it's going to reaffirm this new identity. So what are the results you're working towards? Who is the type of person that already has those results? What are his routines? What are his beliefs? What are his character traits? Decide you are that person already and then prove it to yourself with small wins. Step number 3 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. Step number 3 is learning the underlying psychology of how habits are formed. And if you're thinking right now, Ali, bro, just give me the 1, 2, 3 steps. That's all I came here for. And you're telling me about all this woo-woo spiritual stuff. You're not going to understand the practical steps and be able to customize it to your own needs throughout your own life and your own situation if you don't learn how the underlying psychology is formed. And this is pretty interesting stuff. So all your habits are formed through a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. All of them. For example, let's take a bad habit like eating McDonald's after work. The cue is the internal or external trigger that reminds you of that habit. When you're driving down the freeway and you see that big yellow M, that's an external cue that's reminding you of the habit. But it could also be the internal trigger of your stomach rumbling and you feeling hungry. The craving is the desire to go get the reward. It's actually dopamine being released in your brain to motivate you to go get that reward. Once you see the big yellow M, now you're thinking about the cheeseburger, the salty fries, the sweet Oreo McFlurry, the crunchy chicken nuggets. You can feel your mouth watering. You can imagine what it's like to eat it. That's the craving. The response is the actual behavior you do or take. So it could be driving to McDonald's, waiting in a line, ordering your food, and then finally eating the food. The reward is the satisfaction that you get from the behavior. The crunchy, sweet, salty sensations that hit your taste buds and your taste buds think it's in Disneyland. So that's how all your habits are formed. You sense the cue, you feel the craving, you take the response, and you're satisfied with the reward. Now that you know this, we're going to move on to 4 laws of behavior change. I have an entire guide coming out about how to stop your bad habits. These 4 steps are all about how to start habits and actually stick to them. So step number 4. This one's important because if you're constantly being reminded to do something, you're more likely to do it. And this step is so obvious that you're probably overlooking it. So step number 4 is make the cue obvious. Whatever habit that you want to start, how can you make the trigger, the cue, more obvious in your environment or day-to-day situation? If you want to start being healthier, can you leave out apples on a bowl in the kitchen? Or can you put all the healthy food in your pantry or your fridge closer to the front? So as soon as you open it, you're not bombarded with junk food here and there. It's just healthy food. Can you put your workout shoes right next to your bed? Can you set timers on your phone? Everyone has a wake-up alarm. I have a sleep alarm at 8:30 that says, hey, get ready for bed. Can you set multiple alarms on your phone? Hey, 2 p.m. workout. Hey, 8:30 is your sleep routine. Hey, 4 o'clock, make sure you start working on that project you told yourself you were going to. The more triggers that you can have, the better. I know this sounds like duh, of course, but chances are that you're overlooking it and not actually doing it because it seems so easy that you're thinking, okay, well, this step I'm just going to skip and I'm going to move on to good stuff. Ollie, just tell me that secret hack to stick to my habits. There's no secret hack. I promise this step will help out immensely if you actually do it. Make the cue more obvious. Step number 5 out of 11. This one's important because if we can make you love doing this habit, then there's no tension that you're going to be fighting against. Step number 5 is make the craving more attractive. This isn't about giving you a reward. It's the emotion that you feel when you're thinking about that habit. The way to do this is by rewiring your mindset. When you think of working out, when most people think of working out, what do you think comes into their head? Your primal lizard brain thinks of ways to conserve energy. So whenever your brain starts thinking of working out or using up energy, it's going to say, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing that because it's going to refer you to the most intense point of your workout where you're halfway through, you're tired, you're sweating, and you're like, that stops a lot of people from working out because that's the first thought that comes into their brain. What if from now on, as soon as those lazy thoughts and feelings hit your brain, you automatically rewire your mindset through positive affirmations? You're like, no, I know my brain's thinking this way, but I remember the feeling that I have after the gym where I'm proud, I got a good workout in, the dopamine's hitting, the endorphins. That's a body high. I love that feeling. What if you remind yourself about that? This is an easy place to also insert your vision and anti-vision that we created in the beginning. When I'm going to work out and I'm struggling with finding the motivation to work out, I don't think about the exercises. I think about my beautiful feminine wife and her eyes just lighting up and we're having like the best sexy time ever because she is deeply attracted to me. Don't think about what you're losing. Think about what you're gaining. Rewire your mindset to make the craving more attractive. Step number 6 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. See, your habits are like seeds. Imagine that habit that you're thinking of right now. So it's like a seed, right? Seeds must be planted for a tree to grow and habits must be planted and done consistently over time to achieve your end result. If you want your tree to grow, you're going to have to place the seed in good soil, give it water, give it sunlight, most importantly, give it time to find its foundation first first before that tree grows, right? There's a time in the ground that the seed is just finding its foundation, nurturing its roots before the tree actually shows up. In other words, for you to see the progress of your habit that you're thinking of right now, you have to set up the foundation first and then give it time to grow. The habit has to be in place first before you try to optimize it. People are like, what's the most optimal workout, or what's the best diet plan? My boy, you don't even have a diet plan. You can't even stick to eating a healthy breakfast. You can't even stick to 10-minute walks around the block, and you're asking me what's the most optimal workout plan? That doesn't make any sense. So here's the biggest life-changing advice when it comes to setting habits. Don't ask yourself what you can do on your best possible day. Ask what you can stick to on your worst day, and that's probably the best place to start. Imagine a day where you're rushed, you have no time, you have no energy, you got no sleep the night before, and you have 10 different responsibilities that you got to take care of. What's the version of your habit that you can stick to on that day? And it might only be, oh, a 10-minute workout, a 10-minute intense HIIT workout, a 10-minute walk around the block. And that's completely fine because that's the best place to start for you. So that's step number 6. Make it easy. Make your habit easy to stick to. Remove the friction between you and your habit. When you wake up on that Wednesday morning and you're so tired because you got terrible sleep, a 30-minute workout sounds insane, but a 10-minute walk around the block, that's light work, bro. Step number 7 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. This one's important because it's going to close this loop of cue, craving, response to reward, and actually want to make you keep doing the habit over and over again. How can you reward yourself for this habit that you're thinking of right now? How can you immediately cause a dopamine spike after you finish this habit's behavior? So if your habit is waking up early, can you reward yourself with coffee from your favorite cafe? If your habit is going to work out, can you reward yourself with one of those tasty protein shakes from the gym right after your exercise? This reward can also be an internal feeling. It doesn't have to be you buying something or rewarding yourself from the outside environment. You can literally just close your eyes. And I know this sounds like super girly for congratulating yourself, and oh, men don't congratulate themselves, they just suffer through the pain. Bro, if you think being miserable and suffering is going to help you achieve your goal, it's not. If you can create a reward for yourself and congratulate yourself, it's actually going to be a whole lot easier because you're going to want to show up and do the habit again. So what I literally do is I just close my eyes and I take a deep breath and I'm like, you know what, Ollie, you didn't feel like showing up to work out today. You didn't hit your PR, but you tried. Like, you showed up even when you didn't feel like it, even when you were tired, and you put in your best work today. Good shit, bro. If you keep doing this, you're going to achieve your end result no matter what, because it's all just a matter of time. And I'm so glad you showed up today, man, and really letting myself feel rewarded for that and letting myself feel good about taking action. So how can you reward yourself for doing this habit? Step number 8 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. And these last few tips are really important, so I really need you to pay attention. Imagine the person that says, oh, I will eat healthier, or I will start working out. When do they start eating healthier or working out? Probably never. They never actually do it. Why? Because it's too ambiguous, and ambiguity is a killer for routines and habits because it's so up in the air. When you say, oh, I will start working out, and it's like 3 p.m., you told yourself, yeah, I can do it later, I can do it for dinner, just do it for breakfast tomorrow. So you need to be specific by setting a time and a place. I will start working out because I will go for a 10-minute walk after work, or I'll do 25 push-ups after eating dinner with my family. Step number 9 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. The power of momentum is unmatched, and we're going to use that power to our advantage when it comes to building long-lasting habits. We're going to use habit stacking, and this is how I've used it for the past 3 years with my morning routine. As soon as I wake up, I take a cold shower. As soon as I'm done with that, I step on the scale, then I go for my morning walk, which I get sunlight, I start stretching, and I just get my body moving, get my blood pumping, and then I come back home and immediately go into deep work. The habit of waking up triggers my habit of cold showers, which triggers my habit of going for a walk, which triggers my habit of getting into work. I'm building momentum little by little in the positive direction, but by doing things that are a little bit harder each time. If the first thing you do when you wake up is check TikTok and lie in bed for 30 minutes and procrastinate and drink a sugary Starbucks caramel frap, imagine how hard it is for that person to get up and start studying for a test or start doing mental work. It's going to be incredibly hard because he has no momentum built up, and he's actually built momentum but in the wrong direction. So ask yourself, what habits do you have right now? Can that habit serve as a cue for the next habit? Can the habit of brushing your teeth serve as a habit for taking a cold shower? Once you stack habits on top of each other and start knocking out one by one, you will build the power of momentum, and it feels so natural and effortless to keep doing the good habits. Step number 10 out of 11 to start habits and actually stick to them. No matter how perfect your system is, we all mess things up. We're human, and this tip is important because this is going to help you be prepared for when you do mess up. So you watch this YouTube video and you're like, okay, this weird guy on YouTube is actually kind of onto something. I should start being healthier. So you know what? I'm going to follow his protocol and I'm going to start doing 20-minute walks after work every single day. So you actually do this. You stick to it for about 2 weeks and you're doing great. You're incredible. You're like, dude, I'm making progress. I got this habit built up. But on the third week, it's a Monday. Your coworkers didn't show up. All the work was piled on you that day. Your boss started yelling at you and you were like, dude, it's been a stressful day. Fuck the walk. I just want to destroy kids on Call of Duty. Okay, that's all I want to do right now. And you miss your 20-minute walk. So what do you do now? So the first part of step number 10 to prepare for failure is to destroy your all or nothing mentality. We often have a mentality that says, oh, I can't do my 20-minute walk, so I'm not going to walk at all today. Oh, you know what? I went over 200 calories on my diet, so might as well just go over 2,000 calories, right? Because I already messed it up. It's either all or nothing. That's like saying, hey, doc, since you can't remove all the cancer cells out of my body, don't even remove any of them. I want to die with all of them because I'm a man. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So we have to destroy this all or nothing mentality. If you can't stick to your full habit, what's the minimum you can actually stick to? Or set up a mini version of your habit that you can do when you can't do your full habit. You told yourself you'll go to sleep at 9 o'clock, but now it's 9:13 and you came home late and you still want to watch an episode of Netflix and you're like, dude, it's already 9:13, might as well just round up to 10, right? No, go to sleep. Instead of a mile run, can you go for a walk around the block? Instead of a 20-minute walk, can you do at least a 3-minute walk? And I know it seems so small and you're like, dude, might as well not do it. But what we're doing is practicing the art of showing up, because when you're setting the foundation of your habit, the most important thing is consistency. And the second part of step number 10 is make sure you don't miss your habit more than twice in a row, or even twice in a row. If you miss it once, that's cool. Make sure you don't miss it twice, because then you're going to start building momentum in the negative direction. You're going to break that positive momentum, and it's going to be so much harder to get back onto the good habits, especially in the initial phase when you're trying to set up the foundation. All right, step number 11, to start habits and actually stick to them. This tip is important because practically everyone's doing this wrong, bro. Most likely you're doing this wrong too. You've had a job before, right? You've went into a job interview and they've said, okay, this is our benefits, this is how the hourly compensation works, these are all the things you're gonna get, your 401k plan, this is the employment, these are our company values, and you're like, dude, I don't care. The only thing I care about, bro, is how much do I get paid? Tell me that. I don't care about nothing else. But you end up working there, and 2 months in, you're like, okay, the pay was pretty good, but I didn't notice the manager were super rude. These employees look miserable. My coworkers look miserable, and I do not like working here, bro. The problem was you only focused on one measurement. When people go to a gym, the only measurement they look at is their weight or how they look in the mirror. When people start a YouTube channel or a content creation thing, the only thing they look at is subscribers, views, and followers. If you put all your focus on one measurement, you're gonna suffer much more than you actually have to. So step number 11 is measure the right thing, or at least keep in mind there's multiple areas of improvement that are being improved that are really hard to measure. When it comes to a long journey of getting into shape, there's going to be a bunch of ups and downs, and the scale is not going to move in the direction that you want it to sometimes. You'll go into a fat loss phase and think, dude, this is taking forever. A week of dieting and I'm only down 1 pound. I don't even look that different, dude. This is terrible. But remember when you were at the beginning of your workout journey and you were looking up workout videos and you're spending like 20 minutes at the cable fly and you're like, dude, how do I do this? Am I hitting the right muscles? What's going on? You don't have to do that anymore. You're smart, you're knowledgeable, you know what you're doing in the gym, you're confident, you're moving from machine to machine, and you're doing the workouts in about 45 minutes compared to 2 hours because you're not going on your phone looking up every single workout. When it comes to eating habits, how about how knowledgeable you've gone about nutrition? You're not looking at the package label for like 200 minutes trying to figure out, okay, protein, carbs, what does that mean? You have all this underlying nutrition information in your brain now. These things are so easy to forget because you can't measure how knowledgeable you've been getting about a certain subject, and you easily forget it because it's not the number that you want to improve, the scale, the weight, the way you look in the mirror, etc. So keep in mind multiple measurements, and also keep track of the areas of improvement that have been improving that are hard to measure. So this is everything you need to do to start your good habits and actually stick to them. I promise that if you do every single step, you'll find it a million, billion, jillion, infinity times easier to stick to your habits. Make a vision and anti-vision. Write about it, then draw it, then carry it with you everywhere until it is ingrained into your mind, and this will be the biggest motivation that you have. Jim Rohn, the mentor of Tony Robbins before he became Tony Robbins, said, you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. So change who you are. Change your identity through affirmations and action. Don't say, I'm trying to be this or trying to be that. Say, I I am healthy, I am disciplined, I am consistent, I am confident, I'm willing to put myself through effort and pain and suffering, and then take the actions on a daily basis to prove to yourself you are that person. It doesn't matter who you were in the past. You've learned the underlying psychology of how habits form. Cue, craving, response, reward. For the habit that you're thinking of right now, how can you make the cue more obvious? How can you make the craving more attractive? How can you make the response, the actual habit, easier to do? And how can you make the reward more satisfying? Be intentional. Set a time and a place for doing the habit. Don't leave it up to ambiguity and, I'll start working out. No, dude, I'm going to start working out at 2 p.m. 5 days a week. Momentum is powerful. Use that power of momentum and set a routine for your desired habit by stacking it onto another habit you already have. Prepare for failure with 2 tips. Set up a mini version of your habit that you can stick to on a bad day, and make sure you don't miss twice in a row. And make sure you keep in mind multiple areas of improvement. It's not just always about that one number, the money, the views, the followers, the change on the scale, how you look in the mirror. It's about the tiny areas of improvement that are hard to measure. There's a free step-by-step guide that covers all the key points of this video in a Notion document in the description. It is $0 and 0 cents. We do have payment plans available, and without that, bada bing, bada boom, it's ambitious. Ali, I'm out of here. Train like a warrior, think like a monk, and live like a stoic.